Brunswick Communications Operator Smith.
Hey, I live out still stores.
Okay.
There's break-ins out here. There's a guy in the house right now. It's a house under construction.
Okay, do you have your address or that house's address?
Right at 219 or 220 Satilla Drive.
And you said someone's breaking into it right now?
No, it's all open. It's under construction. And he's running right now. There he goes right now.
Okay, what is he doing?
He's running down the street.
Okay.
Back into the
Okay, that's fine. I'll get them out there. I just need to know what he was doing wrong. Was he just on the premises and not supposed to be?
Stuff on it. And he's been caught on the camera a bunch before at night. It's kind of an ongoing thing out here. The man that's building the house has got heart issues. I think he's not going to finish it. So.
Okay, that's fine. And you said it was a male in a black t-shirt?
A white t-shirt. Black guy, white t-shirt. And he's done running back into the neighborhood.
Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old man with a passion for running, laced up his shoes and set out for his usual jog. He loved to run. It was something he had done for years to stay in shape and clear his mind. He often ran through different neighborhoods, including Satilla Shores. As he ran through the neighborhood, Ahmaud passed by a house under construction. The house was open, with no doors or windows installed yet. Many people had walked through it before, out of curiosity. The homeowner had security cameras inside, and they recorded Ahmaud stepping in for a few minutes, looking around, and then leaving. He didn't touch anything. He didn't take anything. He simply walked out, looked around, and continued his run. He used to pass by this house every time he jogged through this route, as a kind of checkpoint. But a neighbor saw him and called 911. In the call, the dispatcher asked what the man was doing wrong. The caller couldn't really say, only that Ahmaud was there and that he was running away. At the same time, Gregory McMichael, a retired police officer and former investigator, was standing in his driveway. He spotted Ahmaud running down the street. Gregory did not know who Ahmaud was. He did not know that Ahmaud had left without taking anything. He had no real reason to be suspicious, but he assumed Ahmaud was a criminal. Without hesitation, Gregory rushed inside and grabbed his .357 Magnum revolver. He called for his son, Travis McMichael, telling him to bring his shotgun. Travis quickly joined his father, and within minutes, they jumped into their white pickup truck and sped off, determined to chase down Ahmaud. Ahmaud was still just running, completely unaware of the danger behind him. The McMichaels caught up with him quickly, yelling at him to stop. But Ahmaud, knowing he had done nothing wrong, kept running. He was unarmed, alone, and scared. The McMichaels, however, were armed and determined. They drove ahead of him and blocked his path, forcing him to turn around. Ahmaud had no choice but to change direction, but they continued following him. That's when William Roddy Bryan, a neighbor, saw the chase. Instead of helping Ahmaud, he joined in the hunt. He got into his own truck and started recording the pursuit with his phone. Bryan used his truck to block Ahmaud's path multiple times. Ahmaud was now trapped between two trucks, one in front and one behind. For nearly 5 minutes, Ahmaud tried everything to escape. He sprinted faster, changed directions, and even tried running through people's yards. But the trucks kept following him, cutting him off at every turn. At one point, Bryan's truck nearly hit Ahmaud as he tried to escape. As the chase neared its end of Holmes Road, Bryan's phone camera captured what happened next.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
I'm out here at Satilla Shores. There's a black male running down the street.
Satilla, where at Satilla Shores?
I don't know what street we're on. Stop right there! Is it? Stop! Travis!
Sir, hello, sir. Sir, where you at? Hello? Hello?
Ahmaud tried to run around the truck, but Travis stepped into his path, blocking him again. They were now just a few feet apart. Ahmaud had no way out. Travis fired the first shot. Ahmaud grabbed the shotgun, trying to push it away, but Travis fired again. Ahmaud fought back, struggling for control of the gun. He was outnumbered, unarmed, and exhausted. Then, the third and final shot was fired. It struck Ahmaud in the chest. He stumbled forward a few steps before collapsing onto the pavement. Gregory McMichael climbed down from the truck and checked Ahmaud's body, not to help, but to check if he was dead. Minutes later, first responders arrived. Ahmaud's body lay in the road, his running shoes covered in dust, his shirt stained with blood. He had no weapons. He had no stolen goods. He had only been out for a run.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to try and do something for him. So I get these gloves on. Got any first aid kit? Any weapons on him, do you know of? Damn.
He's 8 or 9. He's in Baker 9, Satilla Drive and Holmes Road.
When police officers from the Glynn County Police Department, GCPD, arrived on February 23, 2020, Ahmaud's body was still lying in the road, his blood staining the pavement.
Just stay over there for me, sir. Yeah. Just stay over there. I recognize you now.
Yeah.
McMichael, right?
McMichael, yeah. That's my son, Travis.
Okay. Yeah, just hang out over there for me. All right. Yeah, there's nothing I can do for this gentleman. It's like shotgun slug to the center chest. He was on his stomach when I got here. I rolled him over. He stopped breathing a couple of minutes ago.
Right here, is it?
I don't know. I know he's got one right there.
Yeah. Where's that? Rescue section is back. That is part of this whole arm. Yeah. How long ago?
Hadn't been that long.
You seen him breathing?
Rising. It was a gasp. It was sucking. I could hear it gurgling when he was on his stomach. I didn't know what the extent was until I turned him over.
How much blood is who's this guy right here?
I don't want to shot him, I think.
Oh, no.
I don't think he doesn't have any injuries. He's not complaining about any injuries.
Yet, despite the violent nature of the scene, the officers did not detain or treat the McMichaels and William Bryan as suspects. Instead, they acted like nothing out of the ordinary had happened. Gregory McMichael, who had spent more than 30 years working in law enforcement and was retired for less than a year, first as a police officer, then as an investigator for the district attorney's office, was known from the department. The responding officers addressed him casually and asked him how he was doing. No one placed Gregory and his son in handcuffs. Instead, the police let them explain the killing in their own words, reassuring them and telling them that everything will be okay.
I recognize you now.
Yeah.
McMichael, right?
McMichael, yeah. That's my son, Travis.
Okay.
I knew y'all would take him down.
Yeah, he's gonna have the interview.
Yeah. Y'all don't put him in cuffs, are you?
No. Why would you be in cuffs? You're also, we're going to give you a ride to headquarters. You're going to talk to some investigators.
Yes,
Say, everything's got to be done right.
I know.
Okay.
I want it done right.
I got you. So.
It just doesn't look good. I mean, it just shot at me. Last thing I've ever done want to do in my life.
Trust me, can truly understand that.
Playing with my kid. Next thing you know, this. Any weapons on him? Do you know of? I don't know. You mind holding your hands out? And how'd you say you got that blood on you?
He had his arm, when he went down, face down, and his arm was tucked up underneath him. And I didn't know if he was going for a weapon or what, because at that point he was still breathing.
Yeah.
So I pulled his arm out to see if there was a weapon in it.
Right.
And once I realized there wasn't, that's okay. the only contact I had with him.
I mean, if the guy would have stopped, you know, I mean, find out what was going on, he obviously was up to something. I mean, this would have never happened. You know, should we have been chasing him? I don't know. I mean, but, yeah, no, at that point one time when I cornered him up over here, he was trying to get in my truck. He tried to get in my door.
Incredibly, despite Gregory's own words proving that they had no real justification, the officers let him and Travis go home that day, free men. After the shooting, the case was given to District Attorney Jackie Johnson, who had previously worked with Gregory McMichael. This was a clear conflict of interest. Instead of stepping aside, Johnson protected McMichael by preventing the police from making arrests. She only recused herself after public pressure, but by then, the case had already been delayed, allowing the McMichaels to remain free. The case was then handed to District Attorney George Barnhill, creating another cover-up. Barnhill also had a conflict of interest. His son had worked with McMichael, but he failed to disclose this. Instead of stepping down, he let the McMichaels walk free for weeks while defending their actions. Before recusing himself on April 2nd, 2020, Barnhill wrote a letter justifying the killing. He called it a justifiable homicide, claiming the McMichaels were making a legal citizen's arrest and that Travis McMichael shot in self-defense when Ahmaud resisted. It wasn't until Ahmaud's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, began demanding answers that Barnhill was finally pressured to recuse himself. But even after he stepped down, the case stalled once again. After Barnhill's departure, the case was transferred again, this time to District Attorney Tom Durden. For another 6 weeks, nothing happened. No arrests, no investigation, no updates. If it had been up to the local authorities, this case would have disappeared completely. But everything changed when the full video leaked. On May 5th, 2020, the video recorded by William Roddy Bryan surfaced online, showing the final moments of Ahmaud Arbery's life. Within hours, the video spread across social media and went viral. News stations broadcasted the footage nationwide. Celebrities, politicians, and activists demanded accountability, while protesters filled the streets.
All right, I figured it out. I've got my hat on backwards. I'm shirtless, like I'm on some episode of Cops. I'm running with the TV. Someone's gonna stop me now for sure. Because if not, what was the problem with Ahmaud?
Under immense public pressure, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, took over the case. The GBI wasted no time. On May 7th, 2020, just 2 days after taking over the case, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrested Gregory and Travis McMichael, charging them with felony murder and aggravated assault. 2 weeks later, on May 21st, William Roddy Bryan was also arrested and charged with felony murder and criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment for using his truck to help trap Ahmaud during the chase. As investigators finally began reviewing the facts, the McMichaels' defense crumbled. Ahmaud had not committed any crime before being chased, and the McMichaels had no immediate knowledge of any wrongdoing. The citizen's arrest law did not apply, and no 911 calls were made before the pursuit. The only burglary reported in the neighborhood had happened 2 months earlier, and the stolen item, a firearm, had been taken from Travis McMichael's own unlocked truck. Travis McMichael himself admitted to police that Ahmaud had never threatened them at any point before the shooting. Every attempt to justify the killing had collapsed, and the cover-up had failed. As more details emerged, the U.S. Department of Justice launched a federal hate crime investigation, uncovering disturbing evidence of racially motivated intent. Investigators found racist text messages and social media posts from Travis McMichael filled with racial slurs and violent comments targeting black people, calling them vermin, savages, monkeys, and that he needed to make an example out of somebody. Additionally, authorities discovered Confederate imagery on the McMichaels' truck, further linking them to racist ideology. By the time the trial began in November 2021, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery had become one of the most closely watched cases in the country. The trial took place in Glynn County Superior Court, with Judge Timothy Walmsley presiding. The charges against the 3 men were severe. They faced counts of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment. Their entire defense rested on an old Georgia law, the citizen's arrest law, which, at the time, allowed private individuals to detain someone if they had immediate knowledge of a crime. The prosecution argued that this law did not apply because Ahmaud had not committed any crime. The McMichaels had no real reason to suspect him of anything, yet they chose to chase him down with guns. Even before opening statements, the jury selection process was complicated. The final jury consisted of 11 white jurors and only 1 black juror, despite Glynn County having a 27% black population. The defense team had used its legal strikes to remove 11 out of 12 black jurors. Judge Walmsley acknowledged that the jury selection process showed intentional discrimination, but under the law, he could not overturn the defense's justifications for removing them. When the trial officially began, the prosecution, led by Linda Dunikoski, presented the case that the McMichaels and Bryan had acted as vigilantes, chasing Ahmaud based on assumptions and racial bias rather than any actual evidence. The jury was shown the full video recorded by William Roddy Bryan, which captured Ahmaud's final moments. The prosecution called multiple law enforcement officers and forensic experts to analyze the case. Investigators testified that at no point did the McMichaels call 911 before initiating the chase, but rather just before the shooting.
Brunswick Communications Operator Smith.
Hey, I live out in Steel Shores.
Okay.
Break-ins out here. There's a guy in the house right now. It's a house under construction.
Okay, do you have your address or the other house's address?
Right at 219 or 220 Satilla Drive.
And you said someone's breaking into it right now?
No, it's all open. It's under construction. And he's running right now. There he goes right now.
Okay, what is he doing?
He's running down the street. Oh,
okay. Okay, that's fine. I'll get them out there. I just need to know what he was doing wrong. Was he just on the premises and not supposed to be?
Police and stuff on it, and he's been caught on the camera a bunch before at night. It's kind of an ongoing thing out here. The man that's building the house has got heart issues. I think he's not going to finish it. So.
Okay, that's fine. And you said it was a male in a black t-shirt?
A white t-shirt, black guy, white t-shirt, and he's done running back into the neighborhood.
They also presented Travis McMichael's own statements to the police, where he admitted that Ahmaud had never spoken to them, never threatened them, and had only been running when they started following him. These statements directly contradicted the self-defense claim and proved that Ahmaud had not been the aggressor. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence was the introduction of racist messages and social media posts made by Travis McMichael, especially about his own daughter dating a black man. While some of these details were limited in the state trial, they would later play a major role in the federal hate crime case. The defense team built their case around justification and self-defense, arguing that the McMichaels had a legal right to pursue Ahmaud because they believed he had been involved in previous break-ins. They insisted that their actions were not racially motivated, but were instead an attempt to protect their neighborhood. Travis McMichael took the stand in his own defense, a risky move that actually ended up hurting his case. He testified that he and his father had seen security footage of a man entering the under-construction home and believed it was the same person. He claimed they only wanted to question Ahmaud, but when he didn't stop running, they found it suspicious. However, under cross-examination, Travis admitted that Ahmaud never verbally threatened them, never brandished a weapon, and never said anything aggressive before they blocked him in the street. Gregory McMichael did not testify, nor did William Bryan. Instead, Bryan's attorney tried to distance him from the McMichaels, arguing that Bryan did not have a gun and was only a witness to what happened. The prosecution, however, rejected this, proving that Bryan had actively participated in the chase, using his truck to block Ahmaud's path multiple times. During closing arguments, defense attorney Laura Hogue, representing Gregory McMichael, made a disturbing statement about Ahmaud's appearance, saying that he had long, dirty toenails. Many saw this as an attempt to dehumanize Ahmaud and justify the killing.
He was messy. He sometimes refused to wear socks or take good care of his good clothing. I wish he would have cut and cleaned his toenails before he went out for that jog that day. I guess he would have if he knew he would be murdered. My family is gonna miss Ahmaud. We're going to miss his jokes, his impersonations, his warm smile.
After 12 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a historic verdict on November 24, 2021. Travis McMichael was found guilty on all counts, including malice murder, meaning the jury believed he intentionally killed Ahmaud without justification. Gregory McMichael was found guilty of felony murder, but not malice murder, indicating that while he participated in the crime, he was not the primary shooter. William Bryan was also convicted of felony murder, though he was acquitted of some of the more severe charges. The sentencing phase took place on January 7, 2022. Judge Timothy Walmsley handed down the maximum penalty possible for the McMichaels, sentencing both Gregory and Travis to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 20 years for other charges. William Bryan was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Before announcing the sentences, Judge Walmsley paused for 1 full minute in silence, symbolizing the time Ahmaud spent running for his life before being shot. After the state trial, the defendants also faced federal hate crime charges, which focused on the racial motivations behind the killing. On February 22, 2022, a federal jury found all 3 men guilty of hate crimes, attempted kidnapping, and using a firearm in a crime of violence. In August 2022, they were sentenced to additional life sentences in federal prison. In response to the murder and the failings of the legal system, Georgia repealed its outdated citizens' arrest law, ensuring that no one else would suffer the same fate under a law that had been misused for centuries. Ahmaud's life was taken too soon and for no reason. His name will be remembered, not just as a victim, but as a symbol of the fight against racial injustice. May he rest in peace. Thank you for staying until the end of this video, and I will see you soon for the next case. Stay safe.